Hey guys, it's your girl Londyn, and today we're going to be doing a video about a brand new foundation released from Colourpop. Who else? So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified of all my new videos. And if you still haven't already, head on over to Instagram and follow me at Londyn Brielle so you can see what kind of things I do on a day-to-day basis. If you want to find out what your shade range may be for this brand new foundation and how it wears throughout the day, then stick around because we're going to get right into it. Okay guys, so Colourpop has released a brand new foundation. Probably 6 months, 7 months ago, they released a hyaluronic acid tinted moisturizer, which really just kind of took everything by storm. It was absolutely fantastic, and in the tinted moisturizer, I wear medium dark 16N. They have just recently come out with a hydrating foundation. So it's kind of like the kissing cousin to the tinted moisturizer. The tinted moisturizer was a bit too light for you, then this might be something that you want to look into and see if this works a little bit better for you. So Colourpop did send me these cute little kind of like tester samples to figure out what my shade was and kind of the range that I would be in based off of what range I was in with the tinted moisturizer. Colourpop does from time to time send me PR here and there. I don't get all of their PR, but they do send me some things, and this is something that they sent me. A little bit about the foundation is that it has 42 shades, so it does have a wide variety of shades from very fair to very deep. So I think that it makes it a bit easier to at least get in the ballpark of what your shade range may be, what your undertones may be, because it's not a tinted moisturizer and there's not as much leeway as a tinted moisturizer. I think that these may be slightly more difficult, but that's why we're doing this video today, to kind of see, you know, if I'm 16N in the tinted moisturizer, what might that equate to if you want to get the foundation. So this is called the Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation. So it says that this is dermatology tested, oil-free, vegan, ideal for all skin types. So that is oily, dry, and combination. It says that it is a hydrating foundation with skin perfecting, medium buildable coverage for natural, healthy looking skin. So again, how the tinted moisturizer was light coverage, this is supposed to be medium buildable, but you're still supposed to be able to have that healthy looking kind of natural skin. It shouldn't look too heavy on the face, too cakey, but it's going to provide a bit more coverage. It says that it has hyaluronic acid, aka an HA, and it's known for attracting 1,000 times its weight in water. So this should hydrate your skin sufficiently. It also says it has coconut water, which is known to support hydration and skin softness. Now, I do know some people have an aversion to coconut, so if you have an allergy, of course, this may be something that's not for you. If you have sensitive skin, you break out, this might not be for you. I have heard though that coconut water is very different than coconut oil. So I myself, I am not a dermatologist. I'm not an ingredient expert. I do not know the specific differences between the two, but I have heard that the two are different. And I know myself, I do tend to have a little bit of sensitive skin from time to time. The coconut water does not seem to be a problem for me. However, in the oil form, it most certainly is a definite problem for my skin. So let's go ahead and let's check out these shades. It is vegan because it's Colourpop. So I think that I am supposed to be 148N medium dark, which is the last shade that they provided to me. However, it does look a little red, and I think that I might actually end up being 147W, which is warm versus neutral, but we'll check it out and see. We're gonna put all these on our skin, and we're gonna kind of see, you know, where we fall in line with things. So let's start with the first one. So the first one, these are just the cutest little bottles. They really should sell these for like $1.25, because maybe you just need a little bit of foundation. Maybe you're somebody who doesn't wear a ton of foundation, you know, just so you could have a little bit on hand. Maybe you want to mix it with something that would kind of, I think, be beneficial. This is the color medium dark 120. So you open it up, and for these in particular, they just have these little spatulas. So I'm just going to use my finger to kind of take a little bit off. And let's start here because we do have quite a few and I want to try to make room. So there we have that. So again, that is medium dark 120 warm. And that definitely appears to be quite light for your girl. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is going to be medium dark 125N. And this already looks much more flat-ish, I should say. Yeah, almost looks peach in comparison to the 120. Again, don't really believe that that is my shade. The next one is medium dark 130N. So let's see what this is. Okay. So it looks like we're starting to get more towards kind of the more caramel type colors and getting away from more of the fairer medium dark shades. The next one is going to be 135W medium dark. So let's see this one. Okay, I mean, seems like they're very yellow, even though they're supposed to be warm, or they're very pink, even though they're supposed to be neutral. So the next shade we have is medium dark 145W. So let's check this out. It was very hard on the website because they have various pictures of men and women, you know, with these skin tones, and it was really hard actually to tell, just looking at that, what color might be best suited for me, because several of them look like they might kind of be my complexion. So that wasn't quite as helpful. I will look online though and see if anybody has done a conversion chart or anything. So that looks like, of all the shades so far that we've done, this one right here that we just put on, which was the 145W, that looks like so far that is the best shade color for me. The next one we're putting on is the 147W. Now this is the one that I thought would end up being my shade, simply because it wasn't quite as orange, or reddish I should say, as the one that I think is supposed to end up being my shade color. So here's this one. I think that looks a little peach. What do you guys think? I'm thinking that's looking a little peachy. Now this is the last one we have, and this is 148N medium dark, and I think this is the color that is supposed to be the color for my complexion when I've seen some other reviews from people on this. But let's go ahead and let's kind of see. So kind of in depth of shade, I definitely think that this 148N does seem to suit me best, but I kind of think in undertone, I do think it's a bit red. I think in undertone, what actually looks like it might be best is this one right here, and this is 145W. It seems like the undertone is a little bit more of that kind of caramelly versus kind of this more reddish undertone. I mean, what do you guys kind of think, like with this, what you're seeing? What tone do you think kind of suits best? Again, let's start from the top. This is 120W. Then we have the second shade is 125N. These are all medium dark. The next shade is going to be 130N, and that was very pink. Then we have 135W, which is right here. Then we have 145W, which is the one that I think is actually going to be my shade. We have 147W, which is this kind of very peachy pink shade right here. And then we have 148N right there. So again, I actually am surprised because I think 145W medium dark is going to be, my actually shade color. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little fan right here. We're going to do like probably just a sped up montage. I'm going to try to dry these down a bit and see maybe if they change color at all. So let's do a little montage, shall we? Okay, so I think that's pretty good kind of dry down it looks like. And I'm just surprised that all of them were medium dark. So this is the entire medium dark row that they have. So all the medium dark shades that are available I have right here. And I just find them, there's definitely a lot of undertones. So I think that that's a good thing. But I'm kind of questioning the shade range a bit. I'm just so surprised at how red this one is, how pink this one is. I'm actually surprised at how pink a lot of them are. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna wipe these off, and I think what we're gonna apply to the face is the 145W, which is the third one back. That's this one right here, and that's the one that I think is the most kind of medium dark caramel complexion for me. The rest are a little too light, a little too pink, and very, very too red, even for kind of my summer complexion. It's much too red for me. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna wipe this off. I'm going to prep my face. I'm going to use my Glow Recipe Watermelon Pink Juice. I'm going to use my Becca Skin Love as my primer. I'm going to use my Pixie Retinol Eye Cream underneath the eye. And I'm going to use my Pixie Retinol Jasmine Lotion as another moisturizer. So my face will be prepped when we come back, and we will go ahead and we will start with the foundation. Again, we're going to be using this third one right here, which is the 145W. So be right back, and we can go ahead and we will get this little thing started and see, you know, how it looks, because right now, ooh, I'm a little concerned. So let me whip this off and I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are prepped, set, and ready to go. If my face is looking a little bit different, it's because it is. What I've done is I've corrected and I've concealed. I use the e.l.f. corrector. It says dark circles, light skin tones. That's this right here. And I also use the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer in the color medium. I do not conceal after my foundation. I'm a person who does do it in the quote-unquote old school way. I do it beforehand. I don't use concealer to brighten my face up. At least not right now. Maybe in the future I will, but currently I do not. So I do want to use this foundation the same way I would use it on any other given day. I know sometimes people will use a certain primer on one half of the face and another one on the other half. They'll use a sponge, they'll use a brush. They'll kind of use all these different things. For me, I'm not interested in seeing what this foundation can do without my corrector or my concealer. I'm not concerned with what it can do with 1,000 various primers. I'm concerned with what it can do on my face with the way that I would wear it on a day-to-day basis. And that is with color correction, with concealer, with my Becca Skin Love primer, working with my various powders, working with my setting sprays. I'm concerned with how it works with the items that I use personally on a day-to-day basis, not necessarily with how it works with a variety of other products. So that's what I've done today, is I'm using it exactly how I would on any given Sunday. So again, just for reference, we're using the 145W, again, that is in medium dark. We are going to be using our sponge, and I am just going to kind of take this little applicator, and since it's only going on me, I'm just going to brush it on my face and kind of see what we can do. I am going to do one side first, just so we can kind of get an idea of kind of what it does as far as coverage in comparison to the other side of the face. Now, I do appreciate these little containers because you think that they are environmentally friendly. They're not sending you out a ton of full-size product shades, which, as you could see, I would not have used. So they definitely would have gone to waste. However, this is uniquely strange to put it on your face this way, and it does make you feel like you're putting just so much on, but it's because so little is kind of coming off onto this stick. So I think we have just about enough. And let's go ahead and let's use our sponge and let's kind of see what kind of coverage we can get. Now naturally, and I do this with my sponge on the bottom part of my neck. I know some people hate that, but I do blend like this instead of pounce, but it is what it is. Now with a sponge, you are just naturally going to get a lighter coverage than you do with a brush. It just kind of is what it is. But for me, my preference is to use a sponge more times than not, especially with a liquid foundation. If it's a thicker foundation, if it's a mousse foundation, or if it's a stick foundation, then I tend to maybe use a brush to kind of just make sure it's blended properly and maybe get a little bit fuller coverage. But with a liquid foundation, yes, the sponge does absorb some of the product. It does, you know, shear out a little bit, but I have found that with a brush, the brush also absorbs the product, and I find that it kind of gets streaks in it, and I don't particularly care for that. And I feel like I have to put a lot more on when I have the brush, simply because of the way it moves around, and you have to find the appropriate brush for the type of foundation that you're using, whether it's dual fiber, natural hair, synthetic, so a flat brush, kabuki. So I tend to not really want to mess with that when I'm dealing with kind of more of a liquidy foundation. So I'm just making sure we have this all blended in. And I think even with a sponge, I don't think it lost a ton of coverage. Now again, this said that this was medium buildable, and I think, yeah, I mean, I definitely would say that this is the side that has nothing, and this is the side that has foundation. So I would definitely say that definitely added coverage. Definitely, I can tell it evened things out nicely. For me, I wouldn't build it up any more than this, simply because I'm not necessarily like a full coverage person, and I can just tell by the feel of this. I feel like if you did build on top of itself, I don't necessarily know that you would get any more coverage per se. I think that you would just get more product. But I think for me, that this did a nice job. I can see, you know, it definitely evened out underneath my eyes. I think it definitely evened out some of my hyperpigmentation that's over here on this side. I do like the tone. Like I said, I think that this is the color this is going to be for me. Now watch me go ahead and edit this back and be like, oh my god, girl, you were so wrong. You sound like a fool. But I think, yeah, I think that this looks fresher and brighter. But it doesn't look caked on. It doesn't look heavy. I think that this definitely looks like this could be your skin, just, you know, more flawless. So, okay, all right. So far, so good. The real kind of test is going to be how it wears throughout the day and kind of how other products lay on top of it, how bronzers. I haven't been powdering my face this summer, which is kind of wild because I tend to lean a bit oily. I am combination, but especially during the summer, I lean oily. So I find it a bit unique that I have not really been powdering. I've just been doing, you know, bronzer, blush, things like that. So I'm not going to be setting this with a powder or anything. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the products I use kind of lay down on top of this. Because for me, the wear test and kind of how my other products lay on it is kind of the real test to see how I'm going to like something. Because if things are looking blotchy and splotchy, then that's no good. So if you have to set it in order for other things to really blend on it appropriately, that kind of detours me. And I understand the concept of, much like sometimes with eyeshadow, that if you put a primer on, that's why a lot of people will set their primer, is so that way the shadows will blend more easily and flawlessly without skipping or causing patchiness. So I definitely do understand that concept, even when it comes to the face. But for me, I don't want to have it be something that I have to do. Like, in order for my products not to skip, I absolutely have to powder my face. I want it to be able to work either way, because some people don't want to powder their face. Some people are dry, and so they don't use a powder. Some people just don't want to wear a powder on any given day. So I don't want to kind of be almost forced into having to wear a powder in order for a foundation to really work. And if that's the case, then for me, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, and the foundation isn't something that I necessarily will be reaching for all the time. If it's like a sample or something, or that would necessarily buy myself. So I think, honestly, I think that looks really good. I really like it. And like I said, I'm really shocked that this was my shade, because there was 2 more shades after, but one was too pinky peach and one was way too red. So I'm really shocked and surprised that this was my shade, especially considering, like I said, it's summertime. So I mean, we're not going to a lot of places this summer, but I do have a yard, and I do have a dog, and I do have a husband, and you know, we have a fairly big yard and a fire pit and things like that. So we do spend some time outside. I have a blow up unicorn pool, so I do luxuriate in that from time to time. So I'm really surprised that even with my summer shades, that this, so many shades in, was my color. I do, you know, when I'm outside, do wear SPF, but to be quite honest with you, I don't wear SPF daily. I should, but I honestly don't wear it on a daily basis, so that's why I didn't put any on today. But some of the products that I use do have their own SPF, but I like to use a specific SPF, especially when I'm going outside. So that's that, and I am going to give that just a second to kind of dry down as I get my other products together, because like I said, I'm not going to powder, but at the same time, I don't want to set the foundation up for failure and immediately go on when it is not fully dried. Now when I touch it, it's not tacky, but I definitely can hear my fingers. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I definitely can hear my fingers coming off of it, and it definitely is transferring to my hands. I'm just doing this just so it kind of blends back out again. So I don't know if that will change once we kind of get our powder products on it, but it definitely had like a little bit of a tacky sound, and it definitely, like I said, was transferring to my hands. But what I can say is that I think that this looks beautiful. I think that it feels less, it doesn't feel dry, but it feels less hydrating than the Tinted Moisturizer. But I do think that it provides a more immediate coverage than the Tinted Moisturizer. Definitely. So I think that this, depending upon, again, how it wears and everything lays down on it, this will definitely be a contender for me to go ahead and pick up, because it did provide just a bit more coverage. So especially if you're having like days where maybe you're having some splotchiness, maybe a little breakout, and you just want a little something more. Maybe you want to do an eyeshadow look that might be too much for a Tinted Moisturizer, but you don't want to go kind of full glam with it, that this would be something that is nice to meet in the middle. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do the rest of my face. I will list all the products I do for my face in the information box down below. But in order to not make this video be too long, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to come back, show you guys the finished look, and then we'll chat about me doing the check-in at the end of the day, so that way you guys can kind of see how it wore. So I'm going to go ahead, put the rest of my face on, and I'm going to come back, and we're going to kind of see what it looked like and talk about how the products applied to it. We are back. We are ready to go. We have all of our face makeup done, everything except for our eyeshadow, our mascara, our lashes, but our base is finished. And I have to say, guys, I'm slightly impressed. One of my favorite foundations is the Marc Jacobs Shameless, and I am a 420 in that foundation. And I believe that some of the shades are on sale now, but I think it's typically a $32 or $36 foundation. This, I think, is giving it a run for its money. This provides me the same coverage, the same feel. It dried down very quickly. Now, this is 1 fluid ounce of product for $16. In comparison, the Tinted Moisturizer is 1.45 fluid ounces for $14. So there is a vast difference. There's a $2 difference in amount, but then there is a 0.45 difference in, you know, product that you're getting. that can be seen in one of two ways. That can be seen as I'm getting more product, you know, for the tinted moisturizer, which yes, mathematically you are, and that can be seen as a positive, or it can be seen as, because it's a tinted moisturizer, you're going to need to apply more to the face, and therefore the extra product is kind of making up for the extra amount of application you're going to have to use in order to kind of get the desired effect. So it really just depends on how you view it. I see it as, you know, for Colourpop, it may seem like it's a bit pricey, but I think in the grand scheme of foundation tinted moisturizers, that it is far below kind of what standard practice is, especially because although Colourpop is considered kind of affordable or a drugstore, because their products do tend to be quote unquote affordable in comparison to other products that are in the same tier, I am starting to consider Colourpop kind of like almost like a pixie, where you're not necessarily drugstore, and kind of that title brings about kind of thoughts of things that may be lesser quality, but they're also not quite higher end, like, I don't know, like a Urban Decay or something like that, but they're kind of like in the middle, like they're kind of creeping up a bit, because their quality to me is superior, not just for the price, but I think that Colourpop can really compete in a lot of categories with a lot of bigger brands. So for me, like I said, I think that this is really giving me my Marc Jacobs Shameless a run for the money, and considering that this is only $16, I definitely think I'm going to be picking this up, you know, depending upon how it wears. Now, what I put on for kind of some contour today is the Fenty bronzer, and it's in Caramel Cutie. Like I said, I will put all this stuff in the information box down below. If you know, you know about Fenty. If you don't, well, then you don't know. And it applied beautifully. It actually felt very smooth when it went on. I think it's because of how quickly the foundation seemed to dry down, especially in comparison to the tinted moisturizer, which I found weird because the tinted moisturizer rubs into the skin, whether you're using your fingers, a sponge, or a brush, quite rapidly because it's quote unquote a moisturizer, but it stays more dewy for a longer period of time. So the kind of like that dry down period seems to take an extended period of time, where this was very quick and it blended just so nicely. The bronzer that I used was the Kosas bronzer. This is my absolutely favorite bronzer. I use it every single day. And the blush that I used was from Kenna Ontiveros. I think I butcher that name every time I say it, but I really, really love the formulation of those blushes. I did not put any highlighter on. This is just the natural glow of the foundation and the setting spray. What I did use was the Ciate London Everyday Vacay Setting Spray. I've just really been liking that, but I think that it looks beautiful. Like I said, everything blended just so nicely. Nothing was, I keep feeling like I have like a hair or something right here. Everything blended nicely and beautifully, and I'm impressed, so it right now is 1:20 in the afternoon, so let's kind of call it 1 o'clock. I will check back in between 7 and 8, so we'll give it about 7 or 8 hours, and we will kind of see what happens with it. I'm going to be going outside today. I have some business meetings to do today because things are happening, things are shaking here over at Londyn Brielle, and I will let you guys know at the end of the night kind of how it wore, how it felt, how things are looking. You guys will be able to see, and then we will kind of come to a conclusion about, do we think we want to purchase it, or do we think we kind of want to pass on it and just stick with what we have. But so far, my initial reviews, if this was a first impression, is that this is a purchase. But let's see if that holds out to the end of the night. So I will see you guys in a bit, and we will kind of see where we're at with everything. Alright guys, so this is my check-in. It is about 9:30, much later than I had anticipated doing my check-in, but that is good because we got to kind of really see what this foundation is doing. So we started this about 1 o'clock, so we've had about 8.5 or so hours, give or take. Everything on my face is done, complete, like I showed you guys before. As I'm kind of looking, I mean, please don't pay too much attention to this wonky eyelash because I have been doing a lot today. Again, it has been very hot here. It's been about 80 degrees, which doesn't sound like it's hot, but it's also very humid. So this really has kind of worn through a lot. Looking at myself kind of here in the mirror, I can tell that I am a bit, now remember, I didn't put any highlighter on today, so I am a bit dewy here on my chin, right here, and then right here, kind of in the center of my forehead. So if you guys can kind of see right here in the center of my forehead, I am a bit shiny. I did not blot or anything, so I'm going to kind of feel those areas. The chin may look shiny, but it doesn't feel shiny, like it doesn't feel greasy. Right here, definitely, I don't know if you guys can see, it definitely has some oils, and it has some transfer when I touch it. Right here on my forehead, definitely has some oils and some transfer. I don't have kind of any sort of blotting paper, but what I am going to do is just take kind of just this little rag that I have. I'm just gonna gently tap those areas. And there definitely was, if you guys can see, there definitely was some transfer of the makeup that came off right there. But I do think that it dulled down the shine. So I think that if I had some blotting papers, that it definitely would have dulled down the shine. But overall, when I look at the makeup kind of just as a whole, I think it still looks good. Like, I definitely think you could still go out and about with friends. I think that I won't plan it, not right now. I definitely think you could still put in a couple more hours at work, except for this wonky eyelash, because clearly she has clocked out. She says, I'm done, I'm going home, I have had enough of it, I'm going to get into my PJs and Netflix and chill. So she's clocked out, but the foundation has stayed working its overtime. I think that it does look really good, and again, I'm not noticing any kind of significant fading in my bronzer or in my blush. Nothing else on my face is looking like it has kind of faded off and been patchy. Again, I have eaten dinner, I have touched my face, and I'm not seeing any kind of patchiness with the foundation, although it did get a bit dewy in the normal kind of T-zone areas. Again, I'm combination oily, it's summertime, so I'm leaning towards the oily, and this is a hydrating foundation, so it naturally is providing hydration to your face in combination with some oiliness. You're gonna have it, and just the fact that it's summertime, you know, and you're gonna kind of start getting that natural glow. But I think that that's what it looks like. I think that even before I blotted, it looked like a natural glow. I don't think it looked like an oil slick. It, again, right here and in my forehead area, it had some oil residue come off, but it wasn't heavy, and it didn't feel like super slicky, where it just kind of feels very thick when the foundation comes on. It just had some transfer, but it didn't feel like it was smearing around. And the chin, although it was shiny, it did not feel oily at all. So I'm going to say that this is a 2 thumbs up for me. I definitely think that this is a purchase, that this is not a pass. I think that the color is a absolute perfect match. Like, honestly, like, looking at myself in the mirror, I think this is a perfect color match. Again, if you don't remember, we had the medium dark 145W, and I'm shocked because it's a warm foundation, but it is a perfect spot on match. Again, I thought that it did great with the coverage, with just one layer, and I thought that it wore beautifully over these 8.5 hours in this hot New Jersey heat. So I'm here for it. I definitely will be going online and ordering it. I'm definitely going to continue to use up what I have. I did kind of save the other samples because I want to see if any of the shades kind of suit my sister, because clearly none of those are my shade, not even kind of close. But I'm glad that I was able to find a shade that did match spot on. And again, I think that this wears absolutely wonderfully. I think that the price for $16, I think that it is definitely on the affordable side. I think the way that it performed was more like a high-end foundation. I think that 1 fluid ounce, for me, I think that that is adequate for the price and for the performance. And then I think that if you like Colourpop in general, that you will also like this. So this, I think, is going to be one of the new holy grails that I have. So I'm excited about it. And I hope you guys are excited about it too. So let me know in the comment section down below if you have tried their new foundation. And if you haven't tried their new foundation, have you tried the hyaluronic acid tinted moisturizer or any of their other foundations? If you have, let me know how you like them, how they work for your skin, the colors, the undertones, kind of the whole gamut. If you haven't tried any of them, are you looking forward to trying them? What have you heard about it? Do you like Colourpop generally just as a brand? Kind of let me know what your thoughts and feelings are about it. And definitely, because I am going to be purchasing this, let me know if you want me to do any other kind of wear test with it. If you would like to, now at this point, maybe see me try it with a different primer or a different setting spray now that I've tried it the way I traditionally would wear it. Maybe kind of switch it up and see if any of you guys have any specific requests for me to try it with certain things. But I do think that it wore very well and I really like it. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Thanks so much for sticking with me and my little wonky lash. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give me 2 very enthusiastic thumbs up. If you've not already, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified of all my new videos. And if you have not already, please head over to Instagram and subscribe to me at Londyn Brielle so that way you can follow me, see my pictures. I have some pictures of some gorgeous flowers that my husband got me earlier this week. So I have 2 sets of flowers on my dining room table now, and I found them to be beautiful. So head on over and check those out and just kind of, you know, let's keep up with each other. So until my next video, guys, I love you, I miss you, I appreciate you spending your time with me, and I will see you in my next video. I love you guys so much. Bye.